Hello, class.
Good morning, everybody. How are you today?
We are so excited to be here. If you guys could do us just a quick favor and give us a thumbs up, let us know that the audio is good. That would help us a great deal.
It sure would. So if some of you who were here last year, you know that we started doing a class every Saturday, the last Saturday of each month. And we did that for about 7 or 8 months. And we got a ton of emails from people saying how grateful they were that we shared the information that we do. As you guys know, we full-time RV'd for 3 years, more than 3 years. And we learned a lot, and we learned a lot because of the community we built with the RV Odd Squad, the things we didn't know the RV Odd Squad taught us. Yep. Being that my wife is as learned as she is, she got the looks and the brains here. She has put together an incredible program that's going to help people that are considering the RV lifestyle figure out and do the research necessary to give yourself the best chance of success, whether you're full-time, part-time, weekender, doesn't matter. If you show up to each one of these classes in the next few months, probably 6 months, you will learn a ton. And we guarantee that we're gonna help you decide what's best for you and your family to hopefully so that you can achieve freedom, independence, and adventure in your new RV lifestyle.
All right, class. So let's look at the syllabus. No, I'm kidding. Hopefully you guys downloaded the guide or the worksheet that goes to this class. If you guys get our newsletter, then we automatically email you that download before class. And if you're new to us, you'll see in the description, it'll say like week 8. You just go in there, pop your email, and you'll get the download. And the reason that we are doing the downloads is we do kind of want to treat it like class. You see, unfortunately, experience is the best teacher. And we got some hard knocks early on in our RVing adventure. With that said, we also think that it's important to kind of have a plan and lay this out. And last month, we laid out where we're going with our newbie class. It's almost like this is the second semester, and we are going to fill in the holes that we may have missed our first semester and go deeper into things that you guys have been asking for. So this section today is all about setting your RV life on the right foundation, on a firm footing. And it involves 2 parts to it. The first part, we are going to dive deep into what type of RVer are you? Because shocker, guys, everyone RVs differently.
There's no right or wrong way to do this.
Nope, there isn't. And we ask you certain questions that are going to help guide you in determining what you think is best for you and yours.
Absolutely.
And then the next section, we're going to talk about the budgeting, because once you know what type of RVer you are, then you can really get into the budget.
You shouldn't be shopping for a new RV, especially don't go to any of these major sales places, these dealerships. They are selling you the dream.
Oh, yeah.
They sell on emotion. They basically, when you walk into their place, they say, if you buy this, it's going to change your life. Your life is going to be all fixed. It's absolutely amazing.
Exactly.
You need to arm yourself with the right information so that you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. And so never bring your checkbook to a dealership or one of these RV shows that go on right now.
Yep. Can you drop the download real quick
Sure,
for me?
I can.
So first, we're going to help you determine what type of RVer you are. Then we're going to go briefly into startup costs, because we've already deep dived into startup costs before you actually even drive the RV. So then we're going to go deep into monthly expenses. And all of this really depends on how you RV, because the person that stays in RV parks is going to have very different monthly expenses than the person that boondocks or mooch docks. So that's why you need to first figure out what type of RVer you are, and then you can get into the money. So real quick, we want to thank Don. It looks like he sent us a
thanks, Don. Don's one of our greatest supporters, even though he busts my nuts every week or every month.
Well, and just so you know, we do have a couple of people here that are hecklers out of love, and then we have just the rude hecklers, and it's hard to figure out who's who. But Don is one of the kind hecklers, so
yeah, and
don't give him too much stuff.
We did get an email this morning from Kenneth Pethin, who requested that we thank all of our truckers all over the country, all over the world, who keep that supply chain going and continue to keep things going. Things are getting pretty scary, guys, but thank you to our truckers for keeping those products that we need.
That's
coming.
true. If you ate today, thank a trucker.
Thank a trucker. We love our truckers. Absolutely love our truckers here.
All right, so let's get back to class.
All right, so let me get this and then go to second slide.
Yep. All right, so first into the finding my RV type. The first thing you need to be asking yourself, unfortunately, is how am I going to pay for this? And there's a couple of answers. So maybe you're retired. Maybe you work part-time. Maybe you work remotely. Maybe you work in a stationary job, one that you have to clock in and clock out of physically. The reason this is so important is it's going to determine your flexibility. It's going to determine how often you can RV. Somebody that has to check into an office 9 to 5 every day is going to have a very different RV life than someone who can work remotely. And they're going to have a different RV life than someone who's retired. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I want you to identify, are you full-time employed? Are you retired? Oh, no.
Hold on. Skippy, calm down. Sorry, guys. We had a log holding a tarp up on the roof, and it just rolled off. It sounded like there was a hurricane going on.
It did.
Here.
It really did.
But everything's okay.
Yeah, we're okay, people. And then quick thank you to M and Mark. We appreciate the super chats and the joining. It's not expected, but we appreciate you guys and just wanted to send you guys some thank yous. Mm-hmm. Oh, and on that note, a couple housekeeping announcements. Janie is in the background. She is moderating comments. If you guys have questions, put them in all caps. What that's going to do is allow her to copy them, put them somewhere else so that we can answer them later. We're going to try to get to every single one of your questions. And for those of you who do not know who Jenny is, Jenny is our first full-time employee that is making a huge difference and helping us help our members. Exactly. All right. So now on to the next slide. Next slide. Now that you know how you're going to pay for your RVing journey, who are you with? Because the RV life of a solo RVer versus somebody that has 6 kids and a spouse versus somebody that's a couples, that's going to be a totally different type of RVing journey. Your expenses are going to be very, very different. How you travel is going to be different. The type of RV you need is going to be very different. Huge difference in the type of RV. So first figure out, how am I going to pay for this? Am I retired? Do I work full time? Do I work remotely? Next, figure out who you're RVing with. Are you solo, couple, family? Do you have dogs, cats, chickens, bulls, whatever? What are you going to be RVing with? Yeah. All right. The next question is going to be, how often are you really going to RV? And this is where you have to take into consideration your work commitments, your family commitments, your community commitments. Are you active in church? What do you do in your life already? Because how much are you going to sacrifice those? Here's what I mean by that. If you have to show up to a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, RVing is really going to be available to you on the weekends, right? So maybe you take a Friday off or a Monday off, or maybe you focus on those 3-day weekends, right? Those holiday weekends. But how often are you really going to be taking your weekends if those are your only days off? So that's why you really, really, really need to be brutally honest with yourself. And your partner. Yep. Back to the last slide, being brutally honest with your partner about, do they really want to try the lifestyle? Or are you the one that wants to try this lifestyle and you're going to drag them kicking and screaming? Mm-hmm. Which is fine. And you might both have different ways of RVing, you and your partner. Your partner might want to glamp, and you may want to go out and boondock and get as far away from people as you can. Exactly. That's kind of how we are. Yeah. But I wanted this lifestyle so bad. And guys, we love the RV lifestyle. But Mercedes and I had many, many long conversations. Yeah. And I thought about how she would be comfortable RVing. I knew that Mercedes would need the creature comfort. She would need to be a glamper. Yeah. And we still haven't had an opportunity to go out and try my way of RVing, which is to get out in the middle of nowhere. With no hookups, no people, and just nature. Yeah, I don't want to dig a hole in the dirt every time I got to go to the bathroom. So be honest with yourself. But as far as this one specifically goes, here are a couple of options. If you're considering full-time RVing, that means that you want to RV every day. If you are an avid RVer, maybe you want to go every weekend, or maybe you want to go twice a month. Maybe you want to go once a month. That's 12 RV trips a year. I'm really trying to get you to break this down. Yep. Maybe you want to go once a quarter. Maybe you want to go semi-annually, or maybe you're just a once or twice a year RV trip kind of person. It doesn't matter how often you want to RV. What matters is that you're really honest with yourself in this stage of the game. Before you have even started buying the RV, before you put $1 into this, it's really, really important that you're brutally honest with yourself. And I would say whatever you say your answer is, if you say every day, multiply that by 0.85.
Yeah,
because even as full-time RVers,
we can't tell you how many emails we've gotten from people and met people along the way that went out and bought a 60, 70, 80 to $300,000 RV. And the idea was we're gonna do this every weekend, right? Or we're gonna take a 3-4 week trip across the country. And the fact is if you're not honest with yourself, how many people have bought an RV, even if it's a small pop-up, and it sits next to the house for years and years and years. So
exactly,
you don't want to do that. You don't want to spend money and have a depreciating asset, because these things depreciate fast, especially right now that they're so expensive.
Exactly. And then the next question. So now that we've talked about how often, let's talk about how long, because this is going to impact your budget a lot. If you are just RVing on the weekends, it's going to cost you a different amount of money than if you RV seasonally. You know, a lot of snowbirds RV for 6 months out of the year, and it's technically a 6-month trip, right? Sometimes the RV is stationary. They'll have a stationary RV in Florida, Texas, Arizona. So they'll travel down to the RV, but they won't have the fuel costs like a RV and movement would. So that's why it's not just how often, but how long.
Yeah. What is your range going to be? Are you going to stay near home and do a 3-4 hour trip? Again, how big is the RV? If you go on longer trips, you're going to want a little bit more room. Do you have kids? You have dogs?
Yep.
These
all of these things are coming together.
Yeah. Oh, they're all coming together. In Mercedes download, guys, when you download this, she actually, just like a teacher, has you fill out the blanks about what type of an RV you are.
And then the next question, which you kind of led into it, is how far are you going to be traveling? There's a big difference. If you are going on the weekends, let's say 2-3 days max, you're not going to go across the country. I mean, because you got to figure the time to get back, right? So figuring out how far, if you're an avid RVer, you go a couple times a month on the weekends, then maybe you're going to destinations that are an hour, 2 hours away from you. So your area or your region of RV travel is going to be a lot shorter, but you frequent different places more often. Another one, though, if you are only making one trip a year, but it's a month-long trip and it's a cross-country trip, completely different needs for that person or family or whatnot that's doing the cross-country travel than the people that are staying close to home. And guess what? There's no right or wrong way. There's no judgment here. The point is that you ask yourself these questions before you sign on the dotted line and buy the actual RV.
Yeah, you buy an RV. You like going on the weekends in the winter. You live in Minnesota. We have a friend, Randy's Adventures, who loves going out.
She goes in the winter. She's crazy.
You're going to want an RV that's insulated real well. It has good heating systems, you know? So these are all things to seriously consider.
Yep. All right. The next question. When I camp, I envision. So this is where you get honest with yourself about what you see. So I had this vision that I was going to be outside in nature, drinking my Folgers perfect cup of coffee, and a bird would fly. And then I'd see a bear, you know, and then I would go inside the RV and I'd make some bread from scratch, you know, and then I'd magically like get really in shape doing this too, by the way. I wouldn't exercise. It would just magically happen. And so you can see where I'm going here, that my expectations of RV life were slightly unrealistic.
Right. This is the grass is always greener, guys. And it's in every part of our life, right? You think it's going to be this way, but what's it really, really going to be like?
I think the other piece too that's really important is this is where you have to ask yourself, how often do I need to shower? Okay, because the person that boondocks in the middle of nowhere, their camping experience, the gear that they need to camp with, the RV that they need to camp with, completely different than somebody that's going to an RV park.
Yeah, maybe they just have a portable toilet, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Or
they're like a bear in the woods, you know?
But if you're in the woods, you still have costs for electricity. For example, you'd have the generator and then you'd have fuel for the generator. Or if you like to glamp in an RV park, you still have costs for the utilities. It just takes the form of the rent at the RV park. Again,
if you go through this whole thing and answer all these questions, you're going to have a really good idea how you're going to RV and the type of RV you need and what your budget's going to look like. So stick with us on this.
All right. And then So by the end, I know you got to go like really close.
Yeah, I'm going to full screen this, guys, so
Yeah,
you
let's
can
full
see
screen
this one. Let's go
I
here.
think that's it.
Okay.
All right. So by the end, you're going to be able to answer I or we are a retired family, retired couple that travel semi-annually or every day, and we travel for a few weeks out of the year or half of the year. And when we travel close to home, cross country. And when we RV, we like to boondock. So I'm going to give you a couple examples here that make sense. We're a retired couple that travels seasonally in the winter to the south to our stationary RV. Their experience and their budget is totally different than this person, for example. We are a full-time family employed that travels on weekends. We travel once a month to nearby RV park destinations. Mm-hmm. So you can see how determining who you are, how you pay for it, how you like to travel is going to impact your budget. It's key. Or I'm a retired solo RVer that travels full-time most of the year west of the Continental Divide and BLM land.
Yep.
That person's experience is very different than the retired couple that goes to Florida on the winter.
Yep. So you, again, this right here is, I think, the most important sheet we've ever put out there for content. If you can really study this sheet and answer these questions with your spouse or the person you're going to be RVing with, you're going to have a really good idea. Once you get these questions answers, okay, so I'm 6 months, I'm a snowbird, I go to Florida. Are you going to go to one park? If you're going to go to one park, it's not going to cost you as much, because the longer terms you stay, the cheaper the price goes down. You know, we did this in Royal Coachman. Do you want to work all over Florida? Guess what, guys? Good luck in the wintertime. You better book those appointments 6 months in advance, because Florida fills up really, really fast.
Exactly.
So again, we're arming you guys with all the information you need to make an educated decision.
Well, and here's the other piece. If you are the Florida snowbird that goes down in the wintertime, then your only fuel, and the RV stationary, then your only fuel cost is going to be when you're going down and when you're going back up, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas if you are traveling and taking your time along the way, your fuel costs differ substantially. Mm-hmm. Another piece to mention too is that the person that goes from New York to Florida is going to have very different costs than the person that goes from Montana to Arizona. Even if they're both retired and they're both seasonal and they both go 6 months out of the year to the south and go back up to the north, their experience is going to be different because of the costs regionally, because the cost of living in certain states differs.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Yeah.
All right.
Next one.
Yep. Next one. So now, now that you've found,
go back.
No, go next.
One more.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
So now that you've determined how you plan to RV, oopsies. Now that you've determined how you plan to RV, let's talk about the startup cost. Now, we have multiple videos that go really deep diving into the startup cost RVing. So this is going to be more of a quick synapse, a quick reminder. And I'm going to talk about these in lieu of the survey that you just completed. So do you want to go ahead and do the startup costs? So storage. Are you storing your RV because you only travel on the weekends, or do you need a storage space because you RV full time and you couldn't get rid of everything you own? Or
do you have a home base where you can put the RV right next to your house? And if you want to leave it there, do you have hookups for the said RV? Will your HOA allow you to put your RV? These are all things you're going to want to figure out.
Exactly. The RV itself, before you drive the RV anywhere, you got to figure out how much it's going to cost.
Yep.
The tow vehicle.
Tow vehicle, big one, guys.
This goes in two directions. So if you have a motorhome, the motor is already included, but sometimes you're going to want to tow a toad behind the motorhome so you have something to go get groceries in, because it's kind of inconvenient to take the whole motorhome just to go to Walmart to get some milk.
Right. So if you're pulling a travel trailer or fifth wheel, your toad is going to be what you pull that rig with. If you have a big motorhome that gets 5 or 6 miles to the gallon, you're not going to want to drive that around locally wherever you're parking. They don't work very good in drive-throughs, guys.
They don't.
And so you may want to get a small tow vehicle to pull around. These are all expenses that drive the price up and up and up and up.
Mm-hmm. The next one, and these next three kind of all go together: the safety gear, electrical, and water and plumbing. So the RV needs to get plugged in somewhere. Usually you need a surge protector because you can't guarantee that where you're plugging it into is going to have perfect clean power 100% of the time. The water hoses, a splitter, water pressure regulator,
water filters.
Exactly.
We've been all over the country, and the water all over the country is nasty. Some of these old campgrounds have really bad infrastructure, you guys. Now, most of you have been following us for a while. You know that we stress the safety aspect of RVing more than anything else. If you're going to RV, you have to get your safety. You've got to monitor your tires with a TPMS. You want to clean your water.
Safety gear is
you want to have a surge protector. We have video and videos. We don't talk about a lot of products. Most of the products we discuss are safety products, you know, like the gas stop. We just launched our store a couple of months ago. It's store.rvoddcouple.com. You can go in there and buy. And if you're one of our members, whether it's the Park Pass holder or a founder or a nomad, you get a lot of that stuff at wholesale pricing. Like on a TST system, you'd save over $200 depending on the system that you got. We try, anybody that comes in to support us with the membership, we try as best we can to get you the lowest prices we possibly can. And because now we own the campground, we actually have a store, physical store, where we can be a distributor and get our people, the RV Odd Squad, better pricing. It also, for those who can't afford the memberships, it drives the cost down for them as well, because there's power in numbers, guys. The more of us, and we're growing fast. We're growing super fast. We have thousands of members now that proudly call themselves RV Odd Squad members. And we've got so much stuff going on, but behind the scenes, you're going to absolutely love it. That's why we hired Jenny. Yeah. You know, because we can't do this by ourselves anymore. And so if you get a chance, go over to our store, check it out. You can buy an RV Odd Squad sticker. And then one more quick announcement. For those of you who are members on YouTube, you can join a membership and support me and Mercedes right here. As you guys know, we don't do sponsorships. We don't do Patreon. Everything we do is for ourselves because we don't want to be owned by anybody. Yeah, beholden. Yeah, so we're beholden to no one. But if you'd like to support us by buying a membership, 99 cents, $2.99, just look at the membership button somewhere on this video on YouTube. And all of you, we are working on building a class for you guys, so you will have your own personal login information to get to the classes. If you even pay us $1, we're going to give you more and more and more. Exactly. Our experience so far is that the more we give to people, the more we help other people with this lifestyle, the more God gives us, the more it just piles on. And it's amazing what's been going on. This has turned into something we never could have imagined it would. Yeah, exactly. You go, baby. And other items that are just startup costs would be the things inside the RV. So if you have 2 homes, you're going to need a new set of salt and pepper shakers and whatnot. The kitchen, the organizational stuff. Something that you want to consider, this applies more to full-time or seasonal, but it kind of applies to all medical, more than just a first aid kit, right? Your doctors, your prescriptions, etc. Yep. And then internet is a big one. Now, if you're just going on the weekend to escape, maybe you don't care about internet, but if you're going to be out there for a long time, if you're working remotely, internet becomes a super high priority. And then other things would be like maintenance and mail. So if you're full-time, you probably need a mail service or a trusted place to get your mail. So there's all those things that actually cost money before you've even driven a mile in the RV. Absolutely. And if you have more questions on that, we do have other videos that detail the startup costs more in depth and justify why we had those startup costs. But for the purposes of this class, I'm just jogging your memory. And most importantly, you can see how you RV impacts how much your startup costs are. So that's why you have to do the survey beforehand and get clear on what type of RVer you are. Yeah, and one of the most important things, guys, is insurance. Insuring your RV. The bigger the cost, the more you got to do this. And these things break, guys. A lot. Things go wrong, and a lot of people don't know how to drive. You got to watch out for the other guy. Yeah. So if you need insurance, go to RVOddSquadInsurance.com. We've got something set up with Marty. Marty has been, I think he's near 600 of the RV Odd Squad members so that he's taken care of. And even more exciting than that, we're looking to bring RV Odd Squad insurance in-house. And so this is, again, more stuff we're working on so that we can get our costs even lower and lower and lower for our members. Yep. All right. So next, let's go to the next slide.
let's talk about the monthly expenses and go on to the next one. This is one that people had a lot of questions on. So the vehicle. Now, remember, if you have a motorhome, you typically want to tow a vehicle behind the motorhome. And again, that depends how long your trips are. If you're just going on the weekend, who cares? But if you're going for long trips, you need a grocery getter. If you have a towable, then you need a motor to tow it. And so do you have a loan on that vehicle? Is it paid in full? I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life and whether or not you have a loan or not. I'm just trying to get really granularly on what it can cost you depending on how you do it. Because if we have a motorhome, but we just do short trips, I don't need to tow a vehicle behind it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense. I'll just get my groceries ahead of time and I'll be good to go. Right. But if we're going on a 3-month trip, then I'm going to want a tow vehicle for excursions and whatnot.
Right. Right. And another big piece, guys, we are actually looking at new RVs now. We're looking at a Class C or a Super C. We've been kind of shopping around. We're looking at them. We're hoping the prices come down just like everybody else's, because we're taking our fifth wheel and we're basically here at Thunder Canyon going to rent our fifth wheel out to our members, those who have a membership with us. We're going to allow people that haven't RV'd yet a chance to come to Thunder Canyon and stay in our RV for a week, and we'll show you how it works so that before you buy. One of the biggest weapons these salesmen have against you when you walk into a store. I'm sorry.
No, keep talking.
When you walk into a store, like you guys know how we feel about Camping World, right? Is that, again, they're going off your dream. Couple of quick notes. And I know I'm a little bit I'm always out of what Mercedes program is. Yeah. If you buy an RV, never finance it for 20 years. Ever, ever, ever. Put at least 15% down and don't finance it for more than 10.
Which we're going to talk about.
We're going to talk about all that in a whole bunch. But now we know a lot of you are going to get the emotion. You go into these dealerships and they prey on that. They prey on that. And the next thing you know, because that happened to us. Well, we found an RV that we loved and boom.
So the RV loan question mark. Now you were allowed to talk about this topic because now
I think I already covered it.
No, now it makes sense. It didn't make sense before. No, okay. So because RVs are a depreciating asset, there is a lot of people out there that don't believe that you should have an RV loan, especially now that RV loan terms are as long as 20 years. Mm-hmm. It's pretty insane
crazy
to think about paying on something for 20 years that loses 90% of its value within 10.
And then the excitement of the moment that gets you on all the warranties that most of them can't do the service on it anyways. We have somebody that had not had their brand new RV for 9 months, guys. Yeah. That's what's going on in there.
And you still make the payments.
Yep. And the other thing, one of the ugly things they do is you buy those warranties, which we would not suggest you do that. You buy those warranties and they finance those over 20 years. So you're buying 3, 5, 7-year warranties on your rig and you're financing that over 20 years. It's just a scam and a half. So don't do that.
Yeah. All right. The next one is, this depends on how you RV. Are you joining an RV membership? Do you go to national parks or state parks? Those have yearly dues. Do you go to RV parks? Those have nightly fees or weekly fees. So you need to have a category in your RVing budget that talks about where you're going to stay. Now, for example, we've had joined a membership that got our nightly cost down to $10 a night. There were certain hoops we had to jump through to get our cost that low, but that membership, we had a big fee up front. Then we had some monthly costs to that. And then sometimes we had upcharges. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the reason I'm pointing that out is that sometimes there's the big upfronts, but then also there can be monthly payments and fees that kind of add on. So you want to make sure that you're considering all of those in your budget.
Our 1,000 Trails membership worked absolutely fantastic for us in the first year because we used it. We used it a lot. We had our nightly cost down to $10. One of the ugly secrets about 1,000 Trails memberships is the people that use it are subsidized by the people that buy it and don't use it, guys.
Isn't that kind of how everything
works?
Right.
And so if you buy a membership and you use it and you get out there, if you're full time and you use it for 270 days plus per year, the membership's going to pay for itself. you know, and you can also book out 6 months depending on the membership. So we went all in on that, and we paid for our membership in a year easily. So again, we've got videos on this. If you have questions about the 1,000 Trails membership, you can reach out to Brandy and Jim Renault. We've got links for them. They're good people. But again, don't buy a membership. Even people that buy zone passes around the country, you know, thinking that they're going to use it and get out weekends, a lot of them just don't use it.
Exactly. All right, next one, please. All right, internet solutions.
Big one.
There's a question here, someone asking about internet solutions for full time. And this is where it depends on how you RV. If you just go on the weekends every now and then, you could probably be okay hotspotting, especially if you're close to home.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're full time and you're going to very remote areas, we ended up having to have a full boat Verizon and a full boat AT&T system on board, because at any given location, sometimes we leaned on AT&T, sometimes we leaned on Verizon. We were not able, given that our business is completely online and remote and we have to have internet, we were not able to just rely on one of the big networks for our internet needs.
No, because you got to have redundancy. If you need the internet, you need the internet. So we had Verizon, we had AT&T. At our first couple of years of RVing with those two, we only was at a location once where we did not get internet, having both Verizon and AT&T, and that was in Yosemite National Park. Tough internet there. But again, had we invested the money into a directional antenna, right? We didn't do a lot of remote camping, but for those of you who want to do a lot of remote camping, you're going to need to do the research and get a directional antenna where you'll actually dial in to get some type of a signal.
Yeah.
We believe that WeBoost is a waste of money. It helps a little bit, but not too much.
Well,
You'll get enough.
Helps so much.
Yep. We actually like RF Solid better. But this year we're doing a big video on internet solutions, guys. We didn't want to just pop out a video on internet being new at this.
Yeah.
The information that Mercedes and I give you, we test everything. We've tested everything. And then once we know the best company and we know what's going to work, that's when we give it to you guys, because you guys are truly our family on the road. We don't want to give you bad advice.
All right. The next one, fuel and tolls. Again, this depends on how you RV. If you're staying within a 100-mile radius, but there's a toll that you have to take every time you go to the mountains, like E470 in Colorado.
Mostly blue states, guys.
Yeah,
Mostly blue states. There's a lot of tolls.
Another one, another big one is if you are traveling across country. We kind of did this. Every time we hit a toll, we would join the toll, because and I'd put all our vehicles, the Jeep, the truck, the RV, on that toll. So we have a toll in Texas. We have a toll in Kansas.
Illinois, Florida.
We have the SunBiz. We have the Georgia. We have all sorts of.
So you look at our windshield and we've got all these passes and transponders, but the truth is it does save you money. If you go through and then, you know, and you go through the toll, you don't pay for it with cash, which is always a pain when you have a big rig.
Yeah.
They're going to mail you a bill. And
Yes.
typically people miss those, especially when you're not checking your mail a lot.
Well,
you miss those bills. They hammer you. So you get an 80-cent toll, but you don't pay it on time.
Yeah.
All of a sudden that 80 cents toll is $80.
Yep.
So be super careful with tolls.
And make sure that the license that your address is tied to is correct.
Yes.
Because they're going to go based off your plate.
Mhm.
And if you didn't switch the addresses and do your domicile homework like you should have, you'll get a bit for that.
Yep.
All right. So the next question, or the next thing, insurance.
I
John already covered it. I know. Let's just. You drive me nuts, but it's okay. That's why Don said that I'm the
Do you want to go
patient.
back to insurance?
No,
We got it.
No,
Okay.
I don't.
Got it.
All right. The next one is excursions and fun. And there's a question in the download that talks about, what do you envision, like your perfect, or why are you RVing? And basically there's three categories. There's the person that wants to stay at their RV or near their RV at the campground as much as possible. There's the person that only wants to be in their RV to sleep. They want to be out exploring, whether it's seeing the sights, whatnot. And then there's the person in the middle, and they want to be in the RV. They want to be by their RV, but they also want to go see the sights. And it depends where you're going and what you're doing. There were certain locations where we never got outside because there was like nothing outside, just stay in the RV, or the weather was not cooperating. And then there were other places, like when we stayed in Yosemite Lakes, that you want to go outside every day and you want to try as much as possible to go through the national park as much as possible. So this is something that some people RV to go to
That's
to
why
events.
we did it.
Some people RV to go to locations.
Right. Our RV lifestyle was absolutely amazing, guys. We've been to some of the most beautiful places all over this country. Excursions and fun can really add up. One of the things you can beat that. We went to most of the national parks, Zion. I mean, we just absolutely loved it. You're going to want to get an America the Beautiful pass. I think it's $99 for the year, but you also want to use it. You don't want to just go to one park.
Exactly.
And so we had big destinations on our dream board that we would get to. Sometimes it would take us 3, 4, 5 weeks to get there. But once we were there, we would dig in and then shoot out every day to see all the beautiful things. Yosemite, we're at Yosemite for 2 months. We still didn't get to see everything at Yosemite.
Well, and this leans into another thing too. Let's say we know a family that he's taken his son to a football game in every stadium all over the U.S.
Yeah.
So they need to include the tickets to that event in their RV budget.
Yep.
You know, so there's a lot of different reasons to RV, but what I would hate to have happen is that you just look at your monthly payment for the RV and you think that's just the budget in and of itself, and you don't account for all these things because they add up.
They add up
quickly.
fast. And then when you get in these gorgeous locations, they've got helicopter rides and quad rentals, and I mean, just on and on and on. Private guides, really private tours, and we've done all that. We've done all of that, and so that money can add up pretty quick. I think what we're trying to say here is if you're going to be that type of RVer that full times and goes out, hits all the beautiful locations all over. You
better have a budget for it.
You better have a budget, and you better have a plan, a good solid plan, especially setting out now. Your stuff that's booked in Yosemite should be booked out 5 or 6 months. Your stuff in Carlsbad should be booked up, 5, 6 months. You're whatever location you're heading to, you want to book that way out in front.
Mm-hmm. We're close to the end, everyone.
We're almost done.
RV maintenance and repairs. I am the expert on this, obviously. Just kidding.
These are actually the videos I like to do.
Yeah.
The how-tos. It doesn't really quite work out like that. The bottom line on this is that RV maintenance is going to be up to you. You cannot rely on anybody else. If you don't know how to work on maintenance, RVs, repair them, fix them, you are going to learn, because relying on somebody else, it's really not an option, guys. We've been blessed because we have so many people in the RV Odd Squad that know so much stuff.
They'll say like, John, stop doing that.
We have one guy named Steve, right? Who's out in Arizona. Steve came. He is the most knowledgeable RV and mechanic I've ever met in my life. This guy is amazing. I get to lean on him when I have a question.
Just text him.
But bottom line is that you're going to have to learn how to do basic repairs on your RV on your own. If you go ahead and buy an RV, you get it, something happens in a week, you bring it back for service, they could have your RV for months. That's why we've canceled all our warranties. You guys know we had our RV at Camping World 2 different times for 2 weeks, and it always came back with more broken stuff. Within the first month. And so finally, we just canceled all our warranties that were thousands and thousands of dollars, which was a pain, but we did it.
Yeah.
They refunded 50%. But if you're going to buy a service warranty pack, if you can't use it, what's the point?
Yeah, I could have put that money towards the
waste of money.
Fund.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, next one. Propane and generator fuel. Guys, you're going to pay for utilities, whether you pay for utilities or not, whether you're paying it at the RV park, or whether you are in the middle of nowhere and you have a generator or solar. I mean, you're paying for it one way or another.
Yep. And right now we all know what the costs are doing. If a barrel of oil is up, I think it's over 120, 30 bucks, whatever it was. Last week it peaked at over 100. Every type of energy and fuel is going to go up. What's crazy right now is I went down and bought some DEF. I bought a 2.5 gallon box of DEF. It was $26 at Napa, guys. Why would that go up in price? They're robbing all of us. Okay.
I can see where this is going. Next, laundry. This doesn't apply if you're just going out for 2 days at a time. You could probably take the laundry back home with you. But if you're going to go on long trips, bring a roll of quarters.
Well, and
make sure you have a card, because some laundry places have a card. Some laundry places have quarters. Some laundry places you have to spend $5 to buy the card so you can use. I mean, it's insane.
Some laundry places are loaded with crackheads and homeless people, and it's very uncomfortable going in there to do your laundry. We've had some nightmares with this. That's why we had our own laundry on our rig. Yeah. Okay.
That just was really blunt, but it was
it's just the truth, guys. I mean, some of the stuff that's going on in some of the places. What was it, California, where
it was either really rich or really poor.
Right. It was either, yeah, exactly. But what was that one place we went in California that it was just a nightmare? It was like the land of the Walking Dead.
Fresno. Because Fresno has a really hoity-toity part to it.
Yes.
But we were not in the hoity-toity
also
part.
A very poor, you know, it's so sad what's going on in California, because California is one of the most beautiful states we've ever.
We talk bad about.
You can drive an hour and it's just the topography, the landscape changes. It's so beautiful, but they're crazy out there.
Yeah, they're crazy. He's not crazy, everyone. California is crazy. All right, next. All right, storage. This is one that people don't think about, because maybe you think, oh yeah, I'll just park my RV on my property. And then the HOA is like, no, you won't. I remember we mooch docked at Mom's, and them HOA police were looking at us. You know, we didn't stay long enough for her to get the letter, but a lot of HOAs have a lot of really different, they're funny about things, you know.
They're a pain in the butt.
They
I hate
are.
HOAs.
And then the other end, if you're full time, we still had storage because we weren't able to downsize every single one of our possessions. So we had a storage, and that kind of storage, they're sneaky bastards. They raise the price little by little by little. And it's like the lobster in a pot of water that slowly the temperature goes up. That's what storage places are like.
Yeah, we started, I think it was $139 a month. We still have a storage place in Florida, you guys. It's over 3.5 years now, and it's up near $300.
Yeah, what started as like $110 is now.
They are sneaky, guys. So look at the details of the long-term contracts. We never imagined our stuff would be stored for 3.5 years. And again, we love the RV lifestyle. We're not stopping. There's so many more places that we have to see. We're not going to stop anytime soon, but we know now for the type of lifestyle we're going to be doing is we want to be able to shoot out 6, 7, 8 hours. We want to be able to go out on a 1-month trip and then come back to a home base. Yeah. Thunder Canyon is our new home base. We're calling this home base for now. We love it here. We love the people here. God, family, country is alive and well down here. It's like going back 50 years in time. Ider, Alabama is wonderful, but we also still want an RV, and there's a lot of things we haven't seen yet. So we're going through the whole process that we're going through with you guys. And Mercedes, I'm blessed to have a wife that goes ahead and lays it out and puts it in paper.
And then you just walk all over it. No, but it's okay because he keeps it spontaneous.
It's obviously not okay.
No, it is okay. I'm telling myself it's okay.
Okay,
because
you tell yourself it's okay.
You keep it spontaneous.
All right, dump fees.
Dump fees. So again, this depends on how you RV. If you're in the middle of nowhere and you got your generator and you're going and boondocking for long periods of time, eventually you'll need to find a place to dump. Mm-hmm. Now, some states, we met a lot of very RV friendly states that had free dump stations at the rest stops. Yep. But then there were some. Yeah. And a lot of campgrounds charge you for it, you know? And so I don't think we ever spent $1 in dump fees. Because we had a 1,000 Trails membership, we always were in a campground. So we never had that problem. But please don't dump your tanks. If you're going to boondock in the middle of nowhere, don't dump your black tanks out in nature. Yeah. Don't litter on God's planet. Please keep it clean. You know, be like the Boy Scouts. When you go to a place, try to leave it better than it was when you found it. Mm-hmm. All right. And then I call these the real life payments. These are the things that you're going to have no matter what, you know, food, clothing, prescription, credit cards, medical and life insurance. I don't think it really matters so much whether you RV on the weekends or whether you RV full time, you have those costs. The only thing that could really be impacted by how you RV would be regionally food. You know, the cost of food in Louisiana is going to be very different than the cost of food in New York City. Yep. So those are the things that can be impacted, but overall, you take those types of expenses with you wherever you go.
Yeah. When we were in Yosemite, the closest store was 45 minutes away where we could buy groceries. Because again, we were there for 2 months because our friends, the birds, decided to build a nest in the back of our rig. If you know, you know, we were hung up there for 2 months. But we also were paying $10 for a gallon of milk. $8 for a cheap loaf of bread. I can't even imagine what it's like out there now. Back then, when the first 6 months we set out, gas there had hit like $5 a gallon, and we were appalled. I guess it's over $8 a gallon now.
Oh my gosh!
But don't worry, the governor's sending checks to everybody to pick up their gas payments.
Oh dear. So please make sure you put your questions in caps on that note. And I think we're done, baby.
Are we done?
I think we're done.
Wow, you rock. Do you guys see? If I just keep my mouth shut, which
I've been trying to tell you
but
that.
didn't I keep? I kept
You
my
did
mouth.
so
I did
good.
better in this one than I ever
No,
have.
you did so good. But when
Okay.
you said if I just keep my mouth shut, that was
Yeah, that's
it was-
true.
that-
You guys don't really
All
need
right.
me here.
No, we do
Okay.
because there's man questions that I can't answer. So just a heads up, we have Dennis Gardner says the truth is the truth. Allison says love the bluntness. Reverend Kelly says you're absolutely correct, John. They are robbing all of us. Guys, stop encouraging him.
It's true, guys. The world, every time I think it doesn't get crazier and crazier, it does. Every time I think something can't get insane, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And everybody assumes I'm on one side of the political spectrum. I hate them all. I think our
He's an
leaders
equal opportunity.
I can't
hater.
stand Lindsey Graham. I can't stand McConnell. I can't stand these guys. As far as I'm concerned, I have no representation, and I don't think half the country's represented right now. So it's not that I'm against one side or the other. I certainly lean towards God, family, and country, and we know what that side is. But at the same time, times are getting scary. So prepare.
All right. So on that note, Frank said that the winter ice is out and Iowans are ready to hit the road. All right. And then driver
My daughter
Joe,
went to school in Iowa. She went to Iowa State University.
Yeah. The weather there, they definitely have 4 seasons.
Mhm.
Driver Joe says, welcome. Are there any other military members that have access to base family/RV parks? I'm wondering if having access to this makes it all worth it.
It does. It makes a huge difference. The engineers, Army of Engineers have campgrounds all over the country.
Corps
Look into
of
that. Army Corps of Engineers.
And I think you get certain passes for free, but
Yep.
I don't know enough to say which ones.
Yep.
But the camping industry does tend to look at that military service in high regard.
Yeah, exactly. And we're working on offering our military veterans, especially those who are wounded, on giving them free memberships. We gave out a few free memberships last week because there's some people that just can't afford it. And the whole point of this is not to profit from the memberships. The whole point of this is to grow our numbers so that we can help each other and get the products that we all need for lower prices. That's the whole point of this.
So Camping with the Cup says, can you do a video on not placing a generator right behind the RV? I'm in a park right now and at least 3 are doing this. The carbon monoxide is scary.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of makes me wonder if you're in a park, they must not have really good energy. They must not have hookups because if 3 people have their generators running.
Yeah, it used to drive me crazy when people, if you're going to have a generator in an RV space, respect your neighbors.
Yeah.
Get a quiet generator, typically an inverter. Those are quieter than just the construction site generators.
Yeah.
They're a lot more expensive, but if you have a generator and you have neighbors, just don't run it in all hours of the night.
Be respectful.
Be respectful of your neighbors.
Okay, Rick said, I just heard that full-time and part-time RV can void a warranty. Certain RVs aren't designed for that. Can you explain?
It's right inside your contract when you buy a new RV.
Generally speaking,
Yep.
they're not designed for full-time.
They're not designed for full-time RVing. So if you have a YouTube channel and you bought an RV that is not designed for full-time RVing, you're already giving yourself up, so
Yep.
they can void the warranty.
And the insurance.
We've never heard of this. We know this is a fact, but we have never actually seen them do that.
Yeah.
Forest River knows that we full-time RV. We have a sandpiper, and they've done repairs for us.
Yep. All right, here's the next one. Any thoughts on where an RV could be stored when there's no room at our home or nearby? This is why that storage fee, we talked about it 6 times today, because there are places, that will have storage for RVs. But then when you do an RV trip, you have to add driving to the storage place as part of that. And then when you're emptying and loading up the RV for your trip, can you park it in front of the house just for a little bit while you load it? And these are all things that
it also
really
depends
need to
on where
consider.
you're storing your RV. If it's
Yeah.
going to be in sunny, hot Florida in the summertime, you're going to have to do a lot of different things with money, dehumidifiers or
Yep.
those dehumidifier little packs that you open
Those
up.
toxic things.
You may
Yep.
want to consider getting power to your storage area to keep your RV cool
Which will
or warm
raise
in the
the
wintertime,
price,
which
but
is going to
it'll be-
raise the
yeah,
price.
but it'll be worth it.
But as far as storage goes, it depends on where you are in the country. I think Florida storage prices are highest in the country, especially in the wintertime, and that's where we're storing stuff. The same 10 by 10 spot here in Ider, Alabama, up the street is $59 a month.
Yeah.
And we're paying close to $300 now.
No, it's true.
It's insane. So we got to get down there and get our stuff
Mhm.
out of the storage that we have in Florida.
All right. The next question, Stephanie, health insurance. Any tips? This is my biggest holdup. Yeah, this is hard. And this is why you have to have a domicile state, which a lot of people have asked about in the questions. So you legally need to have a place where you domicile. It
Called
doesn't need to
home.
be where you stay, but
It's where your
you
driver's license is, where you vote.
where your taxes are issued
Mhm.
from. And so that's going to determine your health insurance, depending on what you're doing, right? For health insurance.
And
But-
health insurance is another big one we're looking into. We've got a few different people. One guy just emailed us this
Yeah.
morning that does this.
We're looking at group rates. For
Group
full-timers.
rates for full timers. And so again, this is another thing we're adding for our members.
At the moment, we have a telemedicine benefit,
Yeah,
which is awesome.
Which is awesome. We've used our telemedicine 3 different times since we had it in a year. Once for Skippy, once for Sage, and once for me.
Yeah.
Guys, it is powerful when you can get a hold of a doctor or a veterinarian 24/7, 365 from anywhere in the country. But they assign your doctor from your home state.
Yes.
So you have to have the domicile.
And telemedicine is different from health insurance
Yes.
because the telemedicine, the doctor will see you, but what they prescribe, you still need to get that through insurance. You
Right.
know?
But
So
the telemedicine people will send it wherever you are in the country. The
Yes.
doctor will send you
Oh.
the closest place to pick up your prescription. So I think it's better, especially with COVID right now. I don't want to go in an emergency waiting room
no,
or
I
a small
agree.
waiting room and wait. I'd rather talk to my doctor there, have him prescribe your medication. 90% of the stuff that goes wrong with us, you guys, is just a walk in and walk out stuff. They do this with the phone, and our telemedicine is included to our founders. That's $330 a year. We include that. Again, our numbers get bigger, the more benefits we can get for everybody else.
Well, and this is where we need to draw the line here. So it sounds like you're going full-time RVing, obviously, if health insurance is holding you up on your journey, because if you were just on the weekends, it wouldn't matter. So when you are a full-timer, you may need to arrange an annual trip to your place of domicile
Once a
where
year.
you can schedule your doctor's appointment. So you know that every August you go back to Minnesota and you have all of your doctor's appointments and you take care of any type thing you have to take care of, be it tags, whatnot. And that's what you do at that time of the year every year.
Mhm.
So this is why it's really important. And we are not legal experts, but we can share what we did to achieve our domicile. And we're kind of experts in that we made mistakes with our domicile. So we're experts in like,
we made
what
a
not
big
to
mistake
do.
with our domicile.
Yep.
And we're actually working on another video for that
Mhm.
because it actually, a domicile hurt our credit, both of us.
Yeah.
Hurt our credit after a couple of years.
Yeah.
And so we've got some great little tricks to make sure that your banking, your credit cards are giving to a family member or somebody else. You don't want to use a domicile address because they don't like
They
don't like those domicile addresses. So the
Yeah.
banks and the credit card companies, you want to get those with a family member or a close friend that you trust, or just have no paper,
Yeah.
you know, but you definitely want to have an address like that. Now we use My RV Mail, and
They're
they
awesome.
are absolutely fantastic. Most of their members, right, the people that purchase from them are military people from all over
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
They know how to take care of you. They actually just installed 3 RV spots right behind their office. And it's not Claremont. Where is it? Clairview.
Clearview.
Clairview, where you can actually park to get yourself set up, get down and get your license, register, get your voting.
Exactly.
And so we love them. Who was it we had at first?
Well, at first we did traveling mailbox.
Traveling mailbox.
But that had some issues.
Some
with
big,
it.
big issues.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see about putting that link up.
Yeah.
But
And My
if-
RV Mail, guys, if you go in with our link, you get 2 months for free.
All right. The next one, is stats, the stats storage in Florida humidity. Exactly. That's the problem, is that there's humidity and you're basically cooking your RV. So don't keep any food inside there.
No.
Not that you would anyways, but yeah, that's exactly what you need to worry about.
Yeah. And if you guys have questions, just look in the comments here. The L campers who are friends of ours, they actually took our YouTube class.
Yeah. They're answering a bunch of
they're answering a bunch of the questions. One of the best things about the RV Odd Squad, when you watch one of our videos, go and look at the comments below. Don't be terrified and horrified by the haters, because man, did they say some horrible things to us.
Yeah.
But a lot of our real members actually leave great information that we miss. We don't get everything in a video. The RV Odd Squad always fills in the holes for us.
The next question is, you should also figure in breakdown expenses and budget. I guess I was being more optimistic in calling them maintenance, but yeah. And also the insurance piece, but you still have the deductible, right? So that's a big one too. All right. Stephanie asks, what internet system are you using for connection for full-time work? I currently have Verizon. We did AT&T and Verizon.
You have to have redundancy.
That helped.
Yep.
Susan said, we need more info on summering our fifth wheel in Florida. We will remain on site in a campground. So trees are your best friend.
No.
Well, no.
If you
because
sap in Florida, brutal. You should see what it did to my black truck.
But the
shade is helpful. But there's always a price.
There is always a price.
There's always a price. There's no perfect RV and there's no perfect place to park your RV. You're going to have to do something and do your due diligence to make sure your place is secure and not going to have any damage while it sits there.
Well, and here's the thing about Florida. You will acclimate. You will get used to the warmer temperature and you will stop. When we first moved to Florida, before we even started RVing, our neighbor joked and said that we had the house set to meat locker. That it was so darn cold every time she'd come in, and I
got heat stroke 3 times in our first year in Florida.
Yeah, when you were doing the remodeling. Yep. Yeah, so it takes a while, but you will acclimate. But you're right, your AC is going to be on all the time, and most RV ACs sound like you're in an airplane. You hear that constant.
Well, depending on the quality of the RV,
but it's annoying.
You know, it's annoying. It is. Yep, the quality RVs really depend. Our manufacturers are pretty good. But it really depends. If you buy a $50,000-$60,000 fifth wheel as compared to a fifth wheel that goes for $200,000-$300,000, the difference in quality is night and day, you guys.
Exactly.
Insulation, the higher quality products. I was in a Redstone that was almost silent when the AC is running, and it holds it. Our sandpiper, we love our sandpiper, but it's not built as, I mean, that was just our price range when we got into it. And so, you know, it really depends on the quality of the vehicle that you're driving around in.
Well, and here's another piece about the secret to being in Florida in the summer is water. Whether it's a pool, whether it's a nearby beach, if you have access to water while you live in Florida, your life is going to be way better. All right, the next one, thinking about this, you two are the best. We're out here and thankful for your help. What can the people do with very little money each month? Yeah. That's what it comes down to. I mean, there are free parks everywhere. There are free places that you can visit no matter where you're traveling to. But you're going to have to do extra homework
like that
and do research. I mean, you're going to have to look up sites and determine which sites cost money, which sites don't cost money when you're doing that kind of traveling.
Yeah. There's some YouTubers out there that make the van life look so beautiful. So they drive us a little bit crazy, telling you that you can go out in the middle of nowhere and life is perfect and great. You don't need electricity. You can get it from solar. You don't need a toilet. You can just have a bags or whatever they do. Are you the type of person that can do that? And I don't think any person should ever put their family through that. Unless their family truly enjoys it. I would love to go out in the middle of nowhere for a month or two
with a bag
by myself, but with Mercedes, she would be so miserable that I wouldn't have a good time.
The mosquitoes alone.
Oh, it'd be miserable. Yeah. Absolutely miserable.
How do you find the right toll trigger window thingy for the area when you're going west? There's no right answer. We've missed a couple and I've had
to call attention. Pay attention. Yep. You always got to be looking at the signs constantly. When you're driving an RV, you're in hyper alert, guys. Number one, from the other drivers, that's the biggest danger, the people around you.
Yep.
But then also signage,
Yep. I'm going to show the link. Jenny's got the link up to My RV Meal for those of you that are considering it. Because I think you get 2 months free.
It's a great service. It's a great service, you guys.
Which ties into this next question from Stephanie. Best domicile state for full-time travel. vehicle taxes, and WC income. Is that Wisconsin income or?
I don't know.
What
Wisconsin's WS. I don't know what WC
income.
is.
Work camper income. That depends, because there are certain states that will tax you differently. Like Florida, for example, they're really awesome.
There's no income tax for your business.
But where they get you is
excise taxes.
When you move a vehicle to get Florida tags, they hose you in that initial year.
It's not as bad as the blue states up north, Massachusetts, New York. They really get you.
Yeah.
But we love Florida. We actually miss Florida. We're hoping to get back there. And we also got to go back and see Sage's pediatrician pretty soon.
But there's some other good ones too. Like Tennessee, they don't tax your retirement income. South Dakota is really RV friendly.
North Dakota, South Dakota, Texas, Arizona, Las Vegas, Nevada.
So there's some options.
They're going to be different for everybody. Again, it's why it's important to do the homework and actually jump in and see what's going to work best for you. Drives us crazy when people say that the way we RV is ridiculous, because the way we RV is just the way we RV. It took us time to figure out how we like it. And so there is no right or wrong way.
Exactly. All right. The next question: is there a size limit on RVs in state parks? That's depends, but
state and national parks typically it's 27 feet, but some will go 28 feet, and some that we've been into didn't even measure.
Yeah, there is no one size fits all, but generally speaking, the smaller you are, the more places you can literally get into.
Yeah, the rule of thumb is 27 feet. Try to stay under 27 foot.
Next question. For full-time destination travel, do you need a generator? Well, that depends on how you travel.
You should have redundancy backup. We can't tell you how many times we stayed at an RV park with full power that loses power.
Yes.
And so it's always good to have backup power, whether it be battery systems, solar, or we carried 2 Champion generators with us that we loved. Inverter generators, we think it's the best value out there is the Champion inverters. I think they were the 3400, and we would pair them together. But you just have to have redundancy, it really does empower us, because if we lose water, we've got tanks. If we lose electricity, we have backup.
Exactly.
And so that's how to think about the RV lifestyle. And it actually is empowering. If it really does hit the fan, you guys, RVers are mobile and can get out. I'd be terrified living in a populated area right now. If it was me and my family, I'd be terrified.
Yep. All right. The next question. Any thoughts on getting a dash cam to help guard against the numerous schools on the road?
Yeah, we're actually working on something.
And then you get this next question too. I'm going to go check
Renee Bose. Hey, Renee. Renee is one of our members, one of our first members, actually. She'll be coming to visit us at Thunder Canyon. We're in how to get the flat toe system. Just bought a Jeep. You just got to do your homework. We bought the blue. Oh God, it's been so long. We put a video out on this, Renee. The Blue Ox is the system we chose. We think it's a great system. We've tried to get something set up with them. They won't give our members any discounts, but
they don't care about us.
They don't really care about us.
Let's just call it what it is.
Companies that care, and some companies that we don't. We're always they'll reach out to us and say, "Hey, show our product," and we say, "What's in it for our people?"
And then they're like, "Crickets."
Some go cricket, and some say, "We can give this to your people."
Yeah. All right. So this question: does anyone else carry a shovel to go with the TP? That's the problem. I don't want to be a shovel carrier. I mean, I will if I had to. I'm not above a shovel carrying, but I would prefer if it's an option.
There's nothing wrong with a shovel, guys.
Ain't nothing wrong with
as long as everybody's comfortable living like that for long periods of time.
Exactly.
I've got a shovel, little Army foldable shovel.
Exactly.
It's in the back of the Jeep.
But I would prefer not to. All right. Do you guys have any advice on what type of generator to use for 30 amp while RV boondocking? Thanks.
I think Champion. The Champion inverter generator 3400. It does both gasoline and it does a propane. All right. It comes with a system for that.
How much jail time we looking at for joining your campground? None. But thank you. Thank you for thinking so highly of us. Love you guys. This community is what America should be. Go, John.
Hey, thanks, Hybrid Multimedia. Guys, it's spooky out there, man. Things are crazy.
All right, you referenced the RV camp passes, 1,000 trails. Which one is best? That depends on how you camp.
We have every pass. We have 1,000 trails. We bought Passport America is a no-brainer.
Yeah,
it's the best one. You know, if you're going to be traveling all over the place, even if you even part-time, Passport America is a no-brainer. through our links, we've got a deal for Passport America as well.
Yeah, we'll put that up there.
Yeah, we'll put that up there. I think they give you 6 months free if you buy a 2-year membership or something.
I don't remember what it is, but
it's such
a good.
What's the
deal.
other one we have?
We have the coast to coast.
Coast to coast. We have coast to coast. We haven't really used it that much.
Yep.
But we did use it.
Mm-hmm. All right. How do you guys handle the residence issue? Again, my RV mail and a lot of prayer and meditation, because it's a big pain figuring out
it's
your
a big
residency.
pain. The banks don't like these domicile addresses, you guys. They just don't. Flags go off. It hurt our credit a lot.
Exactly.
In year 2.
Yep.
And so that's when we really dug in and found out what was really going on, and it is when we made the change to my RV mail down in Clearview, Florida. Again, great people, great family. Crestview, Florida.
And actually, I'm going to give a shout out. Thank you, Janie, for posting the Passport America link. Because
Janie is a rock star.
I know. She's so awesome.
You guys have no idea what we put Janie through. Janie come on about 2 months ago, and we had just launched a reservation software for Thunder Canyon, and it's been a nightmare. It's been an absolute nightmare. And we've got all these members coming in that want to come stay at Thunder Canyon. We hope all RV Odd Squad members can come and visit us this year. We're going to be here for a while. So if you get a chance, come to Thunder Canyon. But Janie has literally picked up the phone and talked to some of the people to walk them through the process. One of the bigger challenges that we have as a community is that our demographic, our people are older. They're like 55 and older. Not all of us are very friendly with computers. Jenny's been helping these people walk through. Yeah, she's the best. Our people love her. She's all about customer service. She's been an RV Odd Squad probably longer than most people. She's been with us for 3 years.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and so Jenny and John is coming down in a week. And they're moving into Thunder Canyon with us.
Soon.
And watch out, what a team we're building to help our members and grow this thing. We want to have a membership the way that Good Sam's? Used to be. Good Sam's used to be a nonprofit. It used to be a huge number of RVs that helped each other. Hey, Skip, quiet. We're hoping we're going to do something like that. Hey.
Skippy's convinced he just protected us.
Skippy, go lay down.
So funny. Skippy barks, and then John's like, quiet. And then Skippy's like, let's yell.
I
know.
It's quiet, Skip.
He really believes he just saved our lives, babe. He's convinced of it. All right. Any tips to save on fuel during full-time destination travel? That is so tricky. I mean,
there's a couple of them out there.
Fuel discount
that you work, and it's kind of strange how they work. We've never really got into that. But look, do the research. We are trying to work with 2 companies, and we're seeing who's going to give our people the best. Again, Mercedes and I don't look in what's in it best for us. We look into what's best for our people and grow our membership. And power numbers again.
Okay, every time Don opens his mouth, I like him more. Haha. By the way, I'm typing on my wife's account. So
we've got so many members.
John.
Yeah, we got all kinds of members that we've come to know each other. There's hundreds of people that I've never met, but we email back and forth, we text back and forth. And that's another great thing about our memberships is the founders, you get to text. We give you our phone number, we text you and help you through this. Mm-hmm. We love our founders. We bend over backwards to help them. And our goal is to triple their membership. It's $497 for the year, but man, we do everything we can to make your transition as easy as possible and save you a ton of money.
All right. Next question. How can we car camper participate with you? I don't, at this time, we don't have tent sites, but we're working on having
we just got water to the lower campgrounds. Stefan and Mark are doing that. They're doing an amazing job. The first week of April, we have a whole bunch of members come in. We couldn't be where we're at in Thunder Canyon with all the volunteers that we've had, our members. Only our members can come in because it's a liability insurance thing, you guys. When you come in, all members have to sign this 5-page disclaimer, saying that you can't put a chainsaw in your mouth, and we're not responsible for anything you do. Mm-hmm. But it's one of the reasons we're trying to keep this a membership campground. The insurance prices dropped by $82,000, a lot. And so if we can keep it a membership campground, it's going to save all of us a lot of money.
Then the next question is, I wish there were lots of classes for beginners to learn to drive back up and fifth wheel.
We're working on
That's what we want this to be, but
Yeah.
there are driving lessons.
There's driving schools out there. There's people that do it personally. CDL truck drivers that will do training. But guys, remember, if you go back to the original video 8 months ago when we were talking about Thunder Canyon, we want Thunder Canyon to become one of the very first, the first RV 101 campground. So people that are considering the RV lifestyle can come in here, stay in a rig, and actually learn how they work. Skippy, stop. You know, learn how to drive. We've actually picked out a couple of spaces across where we can actually have some training for driving. Now, I don't know what the insurance liability is with that. We're going to have a committee that's going to look into all that. But the hope is that one day people will be able to come in and we can help them learn.
Another question from Gwen. Are champion generators on your page? Well, hold on. He's right there. We do have an Amazon page that you can go to and get them off Amazon. That's where we got our generators from. And John has the dual fuel, which I like because it allows more options. You know,
redundancy. Again, if we run out of gasoline, we've got propane. Exactly. And as an RVer, we always have propane somewhere. As a matter of fact, you should always have backup everything. Right now, we've got, I don't know, dozens of fuel cans, both diesel and gas. And we went ahead in the campground and we got 3,000 gallons of propane. We have 6 tanks here. We filled them all beginning of the year so that we'll be okay if something goes wrong. Exactly.
All right. The next question. Let's see. Do you have a CB, GRMS, or FMRS? Oh, wait. I'm going to put Jenny's, put the Amazon store for the champion generator up
We've
there.
got some members that are ham operators. I guess is a course that goes along with it. We will have a communications in Thunder Canyon. We've got a couple of people looking into that, the walkie-talkies. I would love to learn how to become a ham operator. My problem is that we don't have any time. We go 20 hours a day with all the stuff we're doing. And again, we just try to help as many people as we can. And a lot of the people that we've helped help me learn things that I'd like to learn.
Exactly. All right. Mobile Text says that Nomadic Fanatic just posted a hit and run video where they caught the guy because it was all on surveillance. The camera, he has cameras all around the rig. Exactly. No, that's so true. All right. What about solar power? And what about an electric generator? Is this for a class? This is for a class B. See, that all really depends on you, but I would definitely be looking into, especially like a little bit of solar on a van. It goes a long way.
Yeah. We just signed up with a wholesale distributorship with Renogy. So we'll be offering Renogy batteries. We'll be offering, there's another company that we're looking at their batteries. Again, we'll be selling these in the store. We will be doing a long series video this year of setting up a solar system within our RV. We've got another guy here, Mark, who's going to be doing the same thing right alongside of us. We've reached out to a couple of people. We're hoping maybe Will come in and do some classes to help people get their rig set up. But it's all about redundancy. You should have a backup plan for everything, especially in the crazy times we're going through now.
Next question. Have y'all used Boondockers Welcome? Not yet. But we do hope to at some point. The stats, what's the most economical extended month or two 30-foot RV travel trailer camper park in Florida? We don't know all of the prices in Florida. I can't answer that.
Just depends.
I would hate to give you bad info.
When you're closer to the coast or Disney World, the price goes up. You just got to do your research. Typically, campgrounds will give you a nightly rate, and then they'll give you a monthly rate, and then they'll give you a quarterly rate or a semi-annual rate and a yearly rate. The longer you stay, the prices go down.
Exactly. All right. Thomas asks, why does my RV mail work for banks where others don't? Well, that depends on the bank. Most of our banks were fine with it, but then we had some that weren't, so we ended up using a trusted family.
Wells Fargo was fine with this. They weren't fine with the other user we were using.
It's like, and then all the ones that were good with my RV mail, they did not accept traveling mailbox.
Especially the credit card companies. They don't like it, and you shouldn't be using a domicile address for your credit card and bank companies. You just can't, guys. You got to find a family member or somebody you completely trust, you know.
The next question, the green team, it's not really a question as much as a statement. Janny needs a raise.
Hey, thank you, green team.
Yeah, we agree. Janny is...
I'd love to learn about ham radio operations, communications. Can you imagine what's going to happen to the world if these go down? Can you imagine what's going to happen to the new generation? They'll be lost, absolutely lost.
Exactly.
The time to plan is now, not after things fall apart.
Exactly. And then another question, Steve Baxter, can I become a higher level member but send the money to your address? I'm going to give you Jani's email. It's rvoddsquad@gmail.com.
Oh, why are you doing that publicly?
No, because then she'll answer the squad email.
Sorry,
questions.
Jenny.
No.
Typically, we give this email to our members.
Yes, but this is a membership
this is public
question.
video.
But this is a membership.
It's a membership question on a public platform. So sorry, Jenny.
No, there's another question. Vicente Gamma, hello. Can I pay for a membership the day I arrive? No, because we need you in the reservation system.
You need to get in the reservation system. You need to fill out the proper paperwork so that when you come on, we're protected against you suing us.
Exactly.
And you're a part of our membership.
Yes. So that's why we can't do, and you know, with so much going on right now, having somebody just show up and not be ready for them, we'd be at a disservice. We can't take care of people that way.
But I mean, we sold a ton of reservations last week, guys. It's really starting to climb. And again, we want as many of you as possible to come visit us, especially you longtime watchers and supporters. Like Dawn. I want to meet Dawn one day and hang out with Dawn around a campfire.
Yeah. And here's another Donnie that I wanted.
Hey, Donnie Thomas, man, has this guy been one of our biggest blessings? This guy has helped so much. The biggest way all of you can help us is with prayer. We basically give the RV Squad a lot of the credit for our daughter's healing. Sage, she's doing amazing. She's reading. She counted to 99. Donnie's sends me prayers all the time.
She counted to 100.
She counted to 100, yeah. But Donnie actually helped us with all of our electrical stuff, with the problem in getting construction materials this winter has been brutal. Donnie helped us through a lot of that. And he's also one of the owners now here at Thunder Canyon. We love having him. We're super excited to have him and his wife come back and visit us for a while.
I know, Sage wants to play.
Yeah.
So we're excited. Yeah. All right. It looks like we are in good shape at the moment. And so I am so grateful we have caught up on questions. Yeah.
Thanks you guys for everything that you've done. We still have to pinch ourselves. 3 years ago, we gave our lives to our God. And we said, you know, take us where you want us to go. And it was the birds and Yosemite and this and that and this and that. And here we are at Thunder Canyon 9 months later. The doors are open to members. Our members are the best. They're the best. And they're so giving. RV Squad members, people that come here and meet each other, they stay in touch with each other. They call each other. It's really beautiful the way that this whole thing is coming together. We hope that you all join us in this community, and we will be back next month, the last Saturday, and Mercedes will have another great class put together for you. It's going to be amazing. And God bless you all, and keep the prayers coming. We love you guys.
Thank you guys so much.
Bye-bye.